Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever you're watching this. It's Erica of AriBo Arts, and we're here for Battmaking with AriBo Arts. And you may notice, if you've watched the last several videos, that your angle has changed. Because my phone has finally been repaired. Cost nearly as much as the new phone cost 2 years ago, but still cheaper than a new phone. So I can turn my gooseneck on my tripod upright again, and I'll actually be able to tip you a bit further so you can see all the action on Sebastian. Though I am noticing that Sebastian has a few teeth I need to straighten, which we will do in a second. You will maybe also hear some jackhammering in the background. The bridge I live next to, like literally 4 or 5 doors down from me, is they're making progress. It should be open next month. This is better than the tamping of the cement, which I think they were doing on Monday. It made the whole building tremble. My glasses and mugs were like clinking together. Okay, so today we're going green. So I'm going to tip you over. Let's see if I can twist you maybe a little bit this way. So you can see all of Sebastian. Okay, hopefully, yeah, that works. Okay, you can see I got greens here. I was thinking of doing a Halloween bat, and I wasn't finding anything that was grabbing me. So, of course, now I'm seeing something orange. Nope, that's a bad. Okay. So I'm going to start with some green border luster. I believe this came from Nob Hill in Indiana. Got a little bit of this green. Excuse me. Yeah, I've been sneezing a lot. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is wool from Brown Sheep Company, which is sort of a mixed medium wool, which will go well with this. Okay. I have some green dyed Tessa silk. So this has a little bit sort of brown in the middle of it. And this nice bright green sari silk. And then I may put a little bit of this yellow in there just for a little bit of contrast. Oh, that's the plan. But my first thing is to find out where my knitting needle is, which is right here. Because I've got a few teeth here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Got a few teeth that are, they're maybe not crossing yet, but they're pretty darn close. This always tends to happen on Sebastian here, near this edge. So I just sort of push this through, straighten them out a little bit. Sure you're seeing the back of my head, right? Very exciting. I don't think there's there's 1 or 2 spots further in, but I thought it was just a clump of fiber. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So, and also, I'm very excited because the phone is not plugged in. I didn't have to, string cords across the room to get. So we are testing the new battery. Very excited about it. Makes doing shows so much easier. I am mainly prepping for, my guild has an open house and sale this weekend. So I was in yesterday helping clean the building. And then, I'm trying to think, we've got this much left. About that in half. 3/3. Sort of, kind of. Okay. So that gives us 6 pieces. That's sort of a reasonable amount. And of course, then I went and, hang on, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, Okay, and then I went and pulled one apart. And we're just going to sort of be somewhat random in where we place this other green. There we go. Yeah, so I have, so yesterday the plan had been to go in and actually set some stuff up, and then I got there and the area I was supposed to set up and hadn't been emptied of other things, so I sort of made a pile and left it after I cleaned, and then I ended up, I had plans I made a bet on Monday that I was going to felt into a wrap, but I didn't get down there till really late, and I had to drop the phone off to be worked on, so I couldn't take any photos of the process of what I was going to make, which I kind of like planned on doing. So I'm like, okay, let's just, and it was later than I expected anyway, so at which point I just sort of said, I will do that tomorrow. So that's what I'm doing today, is I will be heading down to my guild in a little bit, probably sometime this afternoon, and I will be finishing setting up, or mostly setting up, and then I'm going to head out, or I may start on a rug. I'm signed up on one of the rug looms, and I initially was supposed to do it at the beginning of the month, and then the person ahead of me didn't get off fast enough for me to work on stuff before I had a string of shows. So I've done a whole bunch of back-to-back shows. Pressing that down. Okay, so what do you think? Shall we add a little bit of the yellow? Of course, I'm not seeing comments, so I can't tell. But I feel like, yeah, that's just sort of green, but I think if I just do just a little bit like that, I think that's gonna be nicer. I like that better. Gives it more depth. Okay, and then we repeat. So the person who was listed after me to use the loom, because I hadn't started yet, they were like, well, we really need to get somebody on the loom. So the woman after me agreed to switch. So she was working while I've been at all these shows, and when I was in yesterday, I looked, and she'd gotten her name written down on you do it like with masking tape, and you stick it to the rug, because we share a common warp, and you pay for the warp once we take all the rugs off. So I couldn't tell if she was done, or if she was because she'd made something rather small, just a little mat. And so I couldn't tell, was she doing I'm going to do a couple of these? Were these placemats? So she'd need a set of 4. And then, so I contacted her, and she's like, oh no, I just have to finish the little edging bit. And she's going to go do that today. So I might be able to get on. I've pulled yarn to use. The plan is, this is a good example where you can see where some of it, so this is the Tussa silk. You can see it's all brown there in the center. So the warp is a very sort of neutral stripe of sort of like a brown and an ecru. And so I got, I have this thing about doing, sort of plain weave rugs, with peaches and cream. And also I think known as sugar and cream, other parts of the world. And so I have sort of ecru, I have a brown. It's a very rather flat brown, which is very similar to what's in the warp. But then I also have turquoise, because I love brown and turquoise together. And Peaches and Cream does cones of turquoise. And so I have a cone of that. And so I will maybe start that today. Otherwise, I'll be using it as sort of a demo this weekend at the Guild Open House. So, okay, a little more on this layer with the yellow. You know, and so maybe next layer I don't put any on. You can do that. You do a layered bat. You don't have to have the same thing in every layer. I mean, I like to, but it's not required. There is no fiber police for this. Yeah, but I gotta get more work done on my van. Gotta get a wheel bearing replaced. And of course, yesterday as I was driving home, my low pressure light went on. Which I hope is not related to the wheel bearing. It shouldn't be, but... So I think I'm going to go to the tire place later and remember to explain to them, because it's a cargo van, the recommended pressure is not the same in the front and the back. Because they're expecting you to carry a payload, they want, or they recommend a higher pressure in the back. And so what happens if a mechanic doesn't know that and they air up your tires, your pressure light goes on because it's not the recommended pressures. And this is an old enough vehicle that I assume more modern vehicles will tell you which tire. This just says low pressure, but it doesn't tell me which tire has the low pressure. Which is kind of annoying, right? Oh, we're going to put the silk on. Well, we'll put this on first, and then we will put the molder. Sorry, the Tesla silk on. So I will get to any comments or questions after this is over. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to comment. After I complete the demo, I always download it and upload it unedited, completely unedited, to YouTube. But you can always ask, if you're watching it on YouTube, you can always leave a comment. And usually I get sent an email so I can pop on and answer your question. Okay. Said I wasn't going to do this later, but I did it anyways. My other goals this week include getting a teaching application in for a class for Michigan Fiber Festival, 2 class applications into Estes Wool Market, and I may be applying to vend there. I gotta get a special event tax number. Now the border luster gets a bit fuzzy, so you really sort of do have to press it down. I think I have and need to get an application into Shepherd's Harvest as well. Don't think I've missed the deadline on that. We will see. Not always good about remembering when the deadlines are. It's got a lot more brown on this particular one. excited to be home this weekend because I was away for part of last weekend. And then I have 3 shows in a row. One is actually in state, which is very exciting. I'm going to pull this piece of red out. We don't need that in this particular bat. I think I've got some other flakes of red pulled aside. But the second weekend in November will be the last time I'll be camping at a festival. It's further south than Iowa. But you know, I pack the wool blankets and the down throws, so I'm usually quite toasty. And of course, I always have my hot water kettle with me. I keep thinking about, do I want to start like a traveling fiber artist YouTube channel? Because I travel so much. And I like traveling. It's getting a bit full in there. This one's sticky. And because it went in when it was just laying on the tray and it got snatched up. Okay, so got that. Put the silk on. It just helps to press it down more and more. There's a big, huge piece of blue here that I think I'm going to pluck out. Let's see what we got. Oh, there's more blue in here. It's like a teal. I'm deciding if I want that. I think we're just going to have to let it be on there. Add a little variety, depth. Okay, last layer. And it's very full. If I sort of look down and look here, you can see it's very full in the middle. I'm just trying to be conscious of that. I think I'm going to press down there. Okay, last bit of green. It's very full, like right there. So these are going on the outside because there's no room for them in the middle. Well, that's nice little stripe right there. Okay, now the silk. Got a name suggestion, please pop it in the comments. I mean, I could just call it a study in green. For a while there I had a series called a Study in Blues with a bunch of different numbers, but those have finally all found new homes. Okay, just the sorry silk left. Making sure there's no red. Resigned myself to there being the blue. A little more in the middle. See if I see red. I'll pluck that out. A little bit of red there. Pink. Okay, and then look at, see if I've got any little pieces of the gold. I think I do. Got that one. And we'll use that up. I'm seeing something here. Looks like just a little bit of, I don't know what that is. It's probably in the sorry silk. Okay. That is done. I don't really have enough to make a second one. I could make a mini. Oh, actually, I don't have any more of that lighter green, so I couldn't. But I can certainly combine that border luster with something else. And see that little string wants to stick to stuff. Okay, here we go. So at this point, if you want to guess what the weight is, pop that in the comments. See how close you get. Person closest gets trophy emojis. Very exciting. Okay. A little uneven, but oh well. Okay, so I'm going to press this back down into the doffer crease on the left-hand side here. I have this longer piece, so I'm going to sort of press it. A little bit of fiber dust, yeah. Okay, so this bit right here is probably going to get combed out. That's just sort of the way it is. Okay, get this ready because I'm probably going to need it. Because I think this is going to be a clingy bat. So I'm going to use it to get between the teeth. Really have to sort of push it back there so that the sort of lump of fiber goes back by the wicker end, which is that smaller wheel. Trying really hard not to stab the bat with this. I don't want to pull it apart. Let's see what the combing action did here at the edge. We're getting back to the doffer crease here. I've got a little, oh yeah, you can't really see it. Certainly have a little bit of fiber that I ended up with this sort of this tail. But I also pulled off another bit. It's going to have a little mini bit inside of it. Yeah, so I ended up with this sort of this tail here. So let's give it a roll and we can weigh it. Find out how much it weighs. Oh, sorry, yeah, let's look at it. Sorry. So definitely sort of very subtle with the different greens. Little pops of yellow. Put that in there too. Probably getting up with fiber all over my t-shirt. Surprise, surprise. Happens all the time. Set that out to weigh. Tear that out. And drum roll, please. Okay, well, nice and good middle size for a bat. It is 2.63 ounces. So yeah. So I will fluff and fold it, take some photos, and put it up in the group later today. Hopefully I remember this time. Okay. Otherwise, thank you very much for tuning in. Or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much for watching on YouTube. Okay. Give me a thumbs up, maybe follow. Okay. You all take care, and I'll see you around on social media.